You ready?
I'm ready.
This is the $599 iPhone 16e.
We can stop the video right there.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Share with your
Just
friends.
buy an iPhone 16
Any
instead.
questions?
Yeah.
Let
What
us
does the
know.
E stand for?
Honestly, I was thinking about that. It's not economic. I think we can land on that one pretty easy. I know
Okay.
that it would if it was at a different price range, but it's not. Efficient. Don't know why that would be the thing on this specific model. If it's
Maybe-
aimed to be in a lower tier.
You know what I just thought of?
Oh.
Maybe it's like everyone. Maybe it's like the iPhone for everyone.
I need to jump off a bridge. I'll be back. Now, for real, iPhone 16e. 2025 started, maybe 4 weeks in, 5 weeks in, we hear that Apple's going to start dropping a bunch of stuff. And they did. Were we expecting an AirPods Pro 3? Yeah.
You're still holding on to the AirPods
Was
Pro
my
3.
heart broken?
Yep.
Yes.
He's still holding on to the AirPods Pro 3.
Did we get an iPhone SE? No. But instead, we got this phone, which we know that Apple normally does, not normally, but we've seen it in the past where they'll drop a mid-year color refresh for some reason, and they're usually way better than the original ones
I
that
hate
came
that
out.
they do that.
It's on purpose.
I hate that they do
swear.
that.
Or they'll drop a phone that it's aimed to be either affordable, more universal, a lower tier, more entry level, if that makes sense. And this is what this is supposed to be. Like we said earlier, we don't know what the E stands for, but normally it has like a meaning. And honestly, I can't honestly figure out what it is because it is not an affordable phone.
Yeah.
At least not for what it delivers. But before we get into it, get ready. We are going to talk a couple of things of this phone. We are going to compare it to an equivalent, whether it's a 16 or maybe something that's equivalent for that price range, because it is at a very, very unique spot. It has a lot of things that are really promising, a lot of things that may be perfect for you, but we do want to lay it all out just so you know what you're walking into and see what you're going to miss out on or what you're going to gain having a phone like this.
Yeah. It's a bummer that the SE's no more. The SE had really good features and a sub $500 price tag.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why this phone decided to exceed the $500 price tag. Starting price of $600 is, you're no longer budget. You're like upper mid tier.
Well, yeah, especially once you start upgrading the storage.
Starting price.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So once you start with Apple, it's really just storage upgrades. There's no RAM or anything like that that you can pick different options for. But once you start getting up there, this phone maxes out at $900. That's ridiculous.
Tax.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So it's confusing. RIP to the SE.
It was short-lived.
Yeah, and this is I'm trying to wrap my head around where this phone ideally exists in the iPhone lineup. Who is gonna go for it?
Who is it for?
Let's cover some of the other bases of the phone first, right? And then we'll theorize about who should buy this.
Let's give it a shot.
All right. Let's kick it off with the design, right? This kind of looks like a mishmash of like, just turn the flashlight on. This kind of looks like this kind of looks like a mishmash of like different iPhones, right?
Yes.
So iPhone 14 vibes on the front, right? And that's the Super Retina display that Apple keeps calling it. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
60 hertz.
It's the Super Retina display. It's the 60 hertz. There's no ProMotion and stuff like that. There's no always on display. It is the entry level display, right?
Yeah.
14 vibes on the front though, because there is a notch for Face ID, not a dynamic island. Right. And then on the back of the phone, it's like iPhone 15 type vibes with the frosted glass.
I love it.
Right. And then I can't even remember. What was the last iPhone that had a single camera lens? Was it the SE?
It was SE?
Yeah. So SE type vibes whenever you look at the camera lens, right? So a mix of 14, 15, and SE all around the phone. But I got to say, look, I'm not a fan of the notch anymore, especially now that dynamic island is a thing. But outside of that, that is a nice looking phone.
I mean, I've said it many times. Ever since the 15 came out with the frosted glass on the back, it's a very nice looking phone. It feels great in your hand. And honestly, because it's aluminum, it's lighter. It feels that the size is perfect. I've always preferred the smaller phone, so this is perfect in my hand.
Maybe the E is for ergonomic.
Hold up.
This is going to be a theme.
We'll get the E. Continues. We'll get the meaning behind the E at the end of the video. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll get there.
But you know what's interesting is the fact that, I mean, it could be because of the cost of the display of cutting out the dynamic island, and that's why they went for the notch, just for cost
I'm sure. Yeah,
saving.
I'm sure.
But they included the action button. We have the action button, which is present on newer iPhones,
USB-C.
and USB-C. So
Yeah.
we do have newer features, even though some others feel like are going backwards.
Yeah.
And this is one of the first things we mentioned because it is a very unique phone. It's like a hybrid of old and new,
Yeah. I
if that
really
makes
do get
sense.
like classic iPhone. Which iPhone
It
was
looks
it?
like a four,
Was it the
maybe.
5S that had like that frosted white
Well, it
kind of
had the
vibe
two
too?
tone.
That was the two tone,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I really like the five. Like it
yeah,
just kind of gives me old school iPhone type vibes. I
yeah.
really like it.
Hmm.
Couple things you should also know. IP rating is here. I believe it's IP68. Wireless charging is here, but no MagSafe.
I knew you were gonna go there.
Yeah, no MagSafe.
Yep.
That was a little bit of an interesting decision. So you can charge it wirelessly, but not with one of the MagSafe
Just
chargers.
very. I don't think that should have been a sacrifice on an
Yeah,
iPhone
I
because
can't
I
imagine
think
MagSafe would have been too expensive.
well, one, yes, but two, I feel like MagSafe has become such a staple on Apple accessories because MagSafe honestly was a hit. There's
Yeah,
so many accessories that work very well with a magnetic back that now getting a newer phone that doesn't have that feels like you're kind of killing your customer base because they probably do have a lot of accessories that are MagSafe already.
yeah.
So it's that was a step back that I don't think should have been in this phone. But here we are. No
Es-
MagSafe.
Especially for a phone that is, I don't want to call this line a direct successor to the SE because it's not,
Right.
right? But it is $100 more than what the SE was. So it should have a little bit more
Yeah,
going on, I feel like.
that's one.
But yeah, just a couple things to note. It looks good. It looks really good. And
It
I do
looks,
like that there's an IP
I
rating.
want to bite it. I mean,
Yeah.
yes.
Wow. Don't do that. You're going to break the phone.
Now, moving on to the inside. The inside of the iPhone 16e is promising. I think it is a lot better than the outside experience because we compare the outside, and I don't want to say it was disappointing, but it was disappointing. So when he looks at the inside is basically an iPhone 16, not the Pro. So you have the A18, the same chip that you have on the iPhone 16. Not really. You actually have one less GPU.
Yep. Yep. Four
So
versus five.
even though it's the same name as iPhone 16's chip, it's not the same chip. So just something to keep in mind. Are you gonna feel the difference? Probably not. If anything, daily usage, normal day to day, it's not gonna feel any different. But that's also because everything that else that happens out of the phone. You also have 8 gigs of RAM, which sure, that's fine.
Same as a 16.
It is same as a 16.
Yeah.
If they would have cut that out, if they would have gone down on the RAM, oh man,
We just throw the phone out
I'll-
the window.
that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
But because the 8 gigs of RAM are present on the phone, that does allow for Apple Intelligence to be part of your experience as well. I mean, we've seen it. Apple Intelligence is everywhere. Every time a new product comes out, they're somehow including Apple Intelligence to be a part of that experience in the demo. Even though it's not a hardware thing, the hardware is what allows Apple Intelligence to function on your phone. So this phone is up to date. When it comes to the software, when it comes to the hardware, it is the latest that Apple has to offer, which makes everything future proof. And when it comes to performance, like I said, you're not going to feel the difference. It is a really good phone. It is very cohesive. Everything's working together and it's very fluid. So you're not going to see anything lacking because it's not a pro model unless you do something pro level. But at the end of the day, it is a really good phone.
Yeah. Speaking of internals, something that's kind of flying under the radar with this phone,
Oh yeah.
the custom in-house Apple 5G modem, the Apple C1,
Crazy.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the first product in Apple's entire product line
Yep.
to feature that modem, and it's a departure from Qualcomm modems,
Yep.
which Apple has been relying on. Every single phone in the 16 line uses Qualcomm
It's been a
modems.
while,
Yeah, for 5G and stuff like that. Are you really going to notice a difference in terms of your 5G speed, reliability? Maybe. I would say depending on where you live.
Right.
For most people, probably not,
Right.
right? But it's more of a bigger picture statement in terms of the future,
Right.
right? Just another component that Apple is internalizing,
Oh yeah.
right, for vertical integrations for their iPhone. So, and I don't want to say that I'm obviously not expecting like Apple silicon levels for the Max in terms of like the type of
Innovation,
difference.
yeah, yeah.
The type of difference you're going to get. But it could be something cool for the future.
I think it's just one step closer to making everything unified so it works better together. Just because everything's in house, once everything is in house, it'll work so much better than just having so many different components that you have to teach how to communicate together.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and who knows? In the future, it might actually improve 5G data speeds, right? Yeah.
better.
We'll see what happens. At the moment, it doesn't support millimeter wave. So that's another thing that could be improved in the future
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But you never know. Next year's entire iPhone 17 lineup, actually not next year, this year's entire iPhone 17 lineup, right? Might feature the C1, or maybe they wait for the 18s and feature the C2. That might be even better.
Right.
Have absolutely no idea.
Who knows?
But it is still something important and worth mentioning to look out for in the future.
100%. Now, that is not the only thing that is an improvement on this phone.
Yeah.
We have a big one, which I was not expecting this one.
Battery?
Battery.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big bump.
Yeah, it is slightly larger than the iPhone 16, so it's like 4,005 versus like 35 something. So it's
Right.
like 500 milliamp hours more. You pair that with the fact that this phone has the standard Super Retina display,
60 hertz.
60 hertz, no always on,
Yep.
missing some things here and there.
Like 100 sensors. Yeah.
And that leads to battery life that you're not going to kill in a day.
It is really good.
Yeah, you're not going to kill in a day. This is a all-day phone and some, and I think that is great. Between performance and battery, that is great.
It's a great balance.
Yeah.
And now we get to the camera.
The single camera.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's so sad to hear.
The single
Which,
camera.
it wouldn't be bad if it was a really good camera. But at the end of the day, we're not looking at a pro level phone. I got to remind myself that this is not a pro level phone.
Yes.
This is the
$600 phone.
16 empty in my pocket. We're going to keep trying.
Yeah.
We're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
Point is, we're looking at a 48 megapixel Fusion camera.
According to Apple.
Same name as the 16th Pro camera. I feel like they're just throwing Fusion like it's Dragon Ball, dude. Like, it makes no sense. It really, what are you fusing with?
Yeah.
The back? The selfie camera? I don't know. Point is, it's a good camera. We did take it to different environments. We were able to test out the quality of the camera that this phone comes with, and it is not pro level. And I think we knew that. I think anyone that buys this phone, or anyone that's looking into upgrading to this phone, will know that, just because we know that this is not the top of their lineup. And with only one lens, are you able to take good pictures? Are you able to take pictures that you can post online? 100%. Can you compare that to an iPhone 16 Pro, a Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, and notice that those cameras are a lot better? Oh, 100% you can. You're going to notice that there's a lot more detail on those. There's better color contrast. There's better lights and better shadows. Overall, it is going to be a better camera system, because it's also $500 more expensive. When it comes to this phone, just keep that in mind. If you're looking for something that's more top of the line photography style with a lot of effects, a lot of features, this is not going to be where you find that. Not on this phone. But if you're okay with taking good pictures.
Okay, you're looking for a top of the line photography experience with a focus on advanced effects and features, and you want to
If you're looking for a phone that takes good pictures that you can post and not think about twice, I would say you can get away with it. I think it's great.
Here's my thing with the 16E. Here's my thing with the 16E, okay? Because I think that covers everything. We've talked about everything.
That's
okay?
the phone.
It's a phone that was made to appeal to someone who just want an iPhone, right?
Yeah.
And it's just a phone that is going to get the job done. It's supposed to be basic, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to get you a good but basic camera, a good but basic display, a good but basic build quality, right? But it's going to give you close to top of the line iPhone performance and software longevity. Everything about this phone is designed to appeal to someone who really probably doesn't want to think too much about what kind of phone they want to buy. It literally only comes in 2 colors as well, and they're both neutral.
Yeah.
Right? This is someone who says, I want an iPhone, make it as cheap as possible, as functional as possible.
As new as possible.
Right. And it gets me by for the next 5 to 7 years. Boom. That's that. But the problem that I have with it is the price. Right?
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. It's $600 for 128 gigs of storage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you bump that up to 256, it goes up to $700.
Yep.
And then the next storage option is 512. That goes up to $900.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I would recommend 128 even to someone who would use a phone for basic purposes,
Yeah.
especially if they want to keep it for 5 to 7 years. Maybe they
That's-
do.
yeah.
Maybe they do want to take a lot of photos with it, right?
Right.
And it'll take up some storage, especially maybe they don't want to invest in iCloud services
Right.
and stuff like that, or at least invest too heavily in that,
And
right?
just keep it local.
I'd probably recommend the 256 model. You're $700 in. At this point, how close are you to the regular iPhone 16?
Well, you're right there.
You're right there.
$699, $729 if you don't activate.
Right. You're right there. So it's so tough because it's a phone that is designed to be appealing to everyone, E for everyone, right? It's
Tim Cook, tell me what it is, man.
yeah.
Tell me what the E stands
it's a
for.
phone that's designed to be appealing for everyone, but the price point is not appealing for especially if you just take a few moments to just research the product line.
Right.
You're going to eventually get to a point, and Apple's really smart about this. They do this with more than just the iPhone product line.
yeah.
They do it with the Macs, they do it with the iPads, they do it with everything.
Yeah.
Right? Once you start really getting into this phone and getting to a point where you're comfortable with the storage and the rest of the specs that it comes with, you might as well just make the jump to the next product line over, because you're either going to be $50 to maybe $100 away, or you might already be at the entry level price point of that next product.
Right. And it's so frustrating just because, like you said, it doesn't make you feel super confident on knowing exactly what you want, because there's so many options that could be good for you, that could work with what you're looking for. And something so simple as, okay, we're looking at an iPhone that's very basic. Dude, even you know how you can track with Find My AirTags?
Yeah.
This one doesn't have that.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you that specific location with the arrow that tells you where that AirTag is.
Yeah.
So things so simple that other phones have, this one sacrifices in order to make it more affordable, in order to make it more entry level, and yet it's not entry level enough for you to be able to see and feel the difference.
Yeah.
So if you're coming from an iPhone 13, 14 maybe, and you're considering the 16E, sure, I can see that argument, especially if you don't really care about the extra bells and whistles that the 16 and 16 Pro come with. But if you're someone that, let's say, has a 15, maybe 14 Pro, and you're thinking about upgrading to 16E, I would not feel good encouraging or recommending an upgrade to the 16E. The reason I say that is because, think about it this way. Let's say that you're in the market and you're looking for a newer phone and you're coming from the 15 Pro. The 16, it's barely an upgrade. The 15 Pro has so many features as a 16 has that you're not feeling like you're actually making a jump up. So taking a 16E is a step down. Let's say they come from 14 Pro. At that point, just get a 15 Pro refurbished. There's so many features that phone comes with that this one doesn't. Now, sure, you have your action button, and that's it.
Yeah.
Everything else, it's better on the 15 Pro. So just look at your options. And I know it's very frustrating. I know it's very complicated. But if you look at everything that's out there, refurbished, pre-owned, all the models that Apple has to offer, really look at the features, really look at where you're able to buy with the budget that you have. And it should hopefully make it better, or make it an easier decision for you when you buy the phone, and just feel a little more confident when you do.
Yeah, I think even if you get to a point where you do just want to buy a brand new iPhone, even if you don't want to go down the refurbished route,
Right.
you want to buy a brand new iPhone, once you start getting to a point where you start speccing this phone out, you're there. You're already at an iPhone 16.
Yeah.
Just a couple $100 extra gets you in the iPhone 16, which is going to be better than this phone in a lot of categories.
In every single one of them.
Yeah, better than this phone in a lot of categories.
Let us know if you are thinking about getting this phone. Tell us why. I am really curious of why someone would consider a phone like this one. If you bought the phone, tell us what you're thinking. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. Because I'll say this: the one thing that I really do like is the design of the phone.
Yeah,
I think phones are getting way too complicated. Understandably so, just because there's so many things happening. But this is so simple, so clean, that if there was a way for me to have this design while having a pro camera system, I would 100%.
and I don't dislike the phone itself. I dislike the price and how it fits into the product line.
It's where they place it, 100%.
Yeah. If this phone was like $100 cheaper, if it kept the SE price tag,
Yeah,
solid.
it would have been a different story.
Solid. $500. Make it start at $500, or even make the 256 $500.
That would have been
256 base storage, $500 price tag, and then if you go to 512, make it 750.
They would have sold like hot bread.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would have been it.
But let us know. Please let us know in the comments. Like and subscribe if you haven't. Stay tuned. We do have a lot more content coming up.
We do.
Thank you for staying. Thank you for watching. And until the next one. Now,
It's like if it's like if Walmart made an iPhone 16.
you know those like fake iPhones from China, dude?
Yeah.
This is what we're
It's
getting.
a Temu iPhone 16, bro. It's an iPhone 16 from Temu, bro.